Well, Mike Lagoon, I guess your parents spent all this money sending you to architect school. You come out of school, you find that's not for me after a couple jobs or whatever, and you go back to something you did learn in college was making beer, right?
I definitely developed a love for beer in college, and I went to school out in Syracuse, and there's not a lot to do in the Arctic tundra in the winter. So I turned to beer brewing and fell in love with it.
But more importantly, now you've raised almost $130,000 on your crowdfunding site on Kickstarter. Yeah. So now you have a real business, and you're in your apartment now. This is where your business is, right? And you got wrapping paper
Oh
hanging from
yeah,
the
I shoot
ceiling and
supplies
everything.
from the ceiling. It's a total mess in here, but
Yeah.
that's one of
So
the reasons for the crowdfunding campaign is to really just kick
wow.
things up a notch and move to a new space.
And you made your goal like in 10 hours or whatever. I mean, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
quickly. We're still trying to digest all this good news and try and figure out how to actually make these things in a
So
timely fashion.
you're not really selling beer, you're selling a kit, a beautiful designed kit that you make handmade to show
Exactly.
people how to make their own beer, huh?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the homebrewing kits that are out there right now,
Yeah.
these big, bulky 5-gallon buckets. Essentially, they're not much to look at.
I see.
So the approach is to make the process a little bit more user friendly, scale it down a little bit for people with smaller apartments or who don't necessarily want to become
Hmm.
professional brewers, but want to just try the process and have something that looks nice on their kitchen counter.
No, I mean it's sort of like designer brewery. I mean it's a
It
little
is.
designer brewery, and you're using like even the wood that it's made out of. This is all local wood up in Massachusetts. You guys are
It
finding, yeah,
is.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So you're a craftsman and an artist too in wood making.
Yeah, I've always had a lot of fun in the wood shop, and I get to do it probably more than I'd like now. But
Damn customers get in the way,
yeah, we're just trying to
right?
keep up. So.
So, in other words, you went to school to learn something that everybody think would be very fancy and smart to learn, and then you followed your heart though afterwards to find because you really like playing with wood, you really like making beer, and
Absolutely, it's one of those things that it doesn't really make sense at the time while you're doing it. You're sort of floundering around trying to figure out what you're doing, especially right after college. I think a lot of people can sympathize with that. And, but looking back now, it makes a surprising amount of sense just coming out of architecture school, sort of with an eye for design, love for woodworking, and a homebrewing hobby. And it all kind of came together with Hot Pots.
But I mean, the hobby, I mean, it was so interesting when you said that. The first time you tried it, you said, God, this tastes like beer.
It was amazing to me. It honestly blew me away. I didn't,
Yeah,
and a lot of people are, they don't know how easy it can be. And,
yeah, it just,
there are a lot of different ways of approaching it. You can, brew in a weekend, or you can become a professional brewer. And
I,
there's every level of brewing equipment in between.
and it's
And
certainly a lot faster than making wine, I would think.
that, yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. It's probably about 3 weeks, 2 3 weeks from start.
Wow. Huh.
So
Now,
it's not
what's
too bad.
mead? I see in your literature.
It's kind of like a honey wine.
Ah,
It's
I see.
very popular in sort of the medieval era.
I,
That
so
actually does make
Renaissance
sense.
fairs, huh? Is
So,
that, people use it in Renaissance fairs? Does it make, so
oh yeah.
I
Oh,
see somebody.
cider too. The kits are great for cider, and
Oh,
especially
cider, I see.
it's a
Oh, well, that's cool. I
lot of
mean, it's a
fun.
kid
So
things. They learn, I mean, they learn chemistry, they learn all this stuff about how to brew their own cider, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's very reasonable. You're not investing thousands of dollars in some, fancy stuff, and it's designer. I mean, it's that woodworking is wonderful that you have there.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think I mean the critique has been made that why would I pay so much for something that does something that a much larger setup could do for even less.
Yeah.
And I think the argument there is just that one of the things that frustrated me about the brewing process was that I would go through it. I would, I'd end up making a huge mess in the kitchen. I would, I'd end up with this big bucket that would just be sitting there for like months, and then it would just go right back in the closet or the basement to be seen again. And I wouldn't move very often.
No, I mean it looks like a chemistry set.
Give people a reason to maybe be inspired to do it a little bit more often. And I think the brewing potential makes up for the cost difference.
But it looks like you have a work of art. I mean, with these chemistry-looking kind bottles, and all surrounded by this gorgeous wood, and these wonderful blue bottles that you put the final product in.
Yeah,
I mean, all this is artwork. It's not cans of beer.
It's been called a grown-up chemistry set.
Right. Exactly. Oh, that's wonderful. And what's really neat is how, man, you had no idea. I guess you've been struggling for a while now trying to kick this business off so you didn't have to go back and be an architect, which you didn't want to do anyway.
I can imagine worse things, but...
Yeah, right. Better than pumping gas. But now you're a beer guy, man, and helping other people succeed in brewing something at home. We all want something, instead of growing vegetables in our backyard, and now we can make beer in our kitchen.
That's the goal, and I think to be able to share that with as many people as possible is one of the goals of our Kickstarter, beyond just the crowdfunding, fundraising.
Is beer made without energy? Do you have to plug anything in or anything?
It mostly takes place on the stovetop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there's no big.
Yeah, it's not so bad, and people are intimidated by the process, but frankly, they shouldn't be. It's really not. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you're a delight. I'll tell you that more people ought to be making homebrew beer, and I know they are. And beer is more like food to me. Wine is, doesn't seem as food, like real food. Yeah. Beer is real food, So to get this, you either go to hopbox.co, right?
Yep, .co.
And as long as you're on Kickstarter, it's a great deal because you get this at a discount of what it's going to be when you're out there like normal people, right? So people ought to get it now, and it's HOPBOX.co. And Michael, you're a great guy and a great here that you're sharing all your talents and skills. It's just that you went to school to learn the wrong thing.
No such thing as a wrong thing.
That's true. Thank you so much, Michael.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Lesko.